Welcome to Good News Devos on U-Nite Radio. I'm Kyle.
And I'm Brianna. Hey friends, do you have a vision of what you want your life to look like? A vision is the plan you have for your future that you hope to bring about. For example, like how you imagine your life will be when you grow up. Maybe you have a vision of becoming a professional chef or a zookeeper when you grow up. Tell us what your vision is on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Those are cool visions. Long ago, there was a man named Patrick who had a vision for his life. Patrick lived in Great Britain when it was controlled by the Roman Empire. We don't know exactly what his vision for his life was, but we have some clues from things he wrote. Patrick lived in a beautiful part of Britain, and his family was rich. His parents were Christians and tried to teach Patrick about God, but he didn't listen. Patrick wanted to live life his own way. His father was an important official. Maybe Patrick dreamed of becoming one as well and growing his family's wealth.
But one night, around AD 406, when he was just 16 years old, Patrick's life was changed by pirates. Irish pirates invaded Patrick's home, stealing money, treasures, and kidnapping people so they could be sold as slaves. Patrick was kidnapped and taken to Ireland, where he was sold as a slave to the king of a village.
As a slave, Patrick was forced to take care of the sheep. Life in Ireland was completely different than what he was used to. The Irish people had never heard of the one true God. They practiced a pagan religion. The Celtic people did not worship the one true God. They had gods for the sun, war, trees, river, and many other things. The people relied on their priest called druids to help them communicate with the gods. The druids practiced witchcraft and even claimed to be able to predict the future. Even though these Celtic gods weren't real, the people were very afraid of them. The druids taught the people that the gods were angry, cruel, and unpredictable. The Irish people believed the gods would bless them only if they committed certain evil deeds. The Irish even killed people as sacrifices to try to make the gods happy.
Patrick could have chosen to be angry at God for letting him be kidnapped and taken into slavery. He could have decided that his problems proved that God didn't care about him. But he didn't. Now that Patrick was far away from his home and family, he realized how much he needed God.
He had a lot of time to think about it as he took care of the sheep. Maybe Patrick remembered what his family had tried to teach him about God. Maybe he thought about how the Bible describes sin as slavery because it keeps you from being free to know God and live with Him forever. God must punish sin and says the punishment for sin is separation from Him forever. No one can free themselves from sin. Someone must set you free. That's what God did for you and me. Because He loves us so much, God sent His Son, Jesus Christ, to set us free from sin.
Jesus did that by taking the punishment for sin you deserve by dying on a cross. He was buried, but on the 3rd day, He came back to life. Now anyone who trusts in who Jesus is and what He did will be set free from sin and given a friendship with God that lasts forever.
If you have never believed in Jesus, you are still a slave to sin, but you can be set free too. If you believe in who Jesus is and what He did, you will be set free from sin and have a friendship with God that will last forever. Will you believe in Jesus today? If you have more questions, talk to an adult you trust who also believes in Jesus.
In the sheep fields of Ireland, as a slave, Patrick believed in Jesus and was finally set free from sin. Patrick probably didn't have a Bible to read, but he knew that God was with him. Patrick prayed every day. He prayed before sunrise, in snow, and in rain. He felt God's presence with him, guiding him and giving him strength even when life was hard. The king may not have understood why Patrick could be so happy as a slave. He didn't realize being free from sin was all Patrick needed. 6 years after he was captured, Patrick had a dream. He heard a voice calling out to him, "Your ship is ready. Soon you will go to your own country." God was giving him a way back home. Patrick ran 200 miles on foot to the coast where he saw a ship. God enabled Patrick to get on board and set sail for Britain.
Patrick was finally home, but his vision for his life was different now. He wanted his life's vision to be what God had planned for him. Patrick studied the Bible and went to school to learn how to read and teach the Bible. he became a leader in his church and served those around him.
Patrick knew his mission would be difficult. In one of his writings, he said, "Daily I expect murder, fraud, and captivity." But he wasn't afraid. He trusted God to protect him. The evil Druids tried their best to stop him, but they failed. Patrick's preaching was powerful. About 100,000 people, both kings and peasants, believed the good news of Jesus and were saved. About 200 churches were created. Those churches continued for centuries. The people in those churches created hymns, prayers, sermons, and art to worship God.
Because of Patrick's work in Ireland all those years ago, Ireland's people loved God and created beautiful music to praise him. Like the writer of today's hymn. Sometime in the 8th century, an Irish Christian poet, whose name we don't know, wrote a prayer asking God to be their life's vision. The first part of the poem goes like this.
In 1905, Mary Elizabeth Byrne, a scholar in Ireland, translated the poem into English. Then, a scholar in England named Eleanor Hull used the poem to create a song. She called the song, "Be Thou My Vision." Today, this beautiful hymn reminds people to make God their vision.
If you believe in Jesus, God should be your vision. Psalm 141 verse 8 says, "But my eyes are towards you, O God, my Lord." If you believe in Jesus, your eyes, or your life's vision, should be focused on God. When God is your vision, you do what He wants and follow His plans for your life. It means you live your life His way instead of your way. Maybe you've been dreaming of what you want your life to be when you grow up. Maybe you want to be famous, or get married and have a family, or have a job you've wanted your whole life. God might use your desires to enable you to do great things for Him. God might also have another vision for your life that's different than what you expect.
God's vision for you is better than any plans you could ever imagine for your life. This week, when you think about your vision for your life, will you ask God to help your vision be what He wants for you?
Thanks for tuning in to Good News Devos on U-Nite Radio. If you've never listened to Be Thou My Vision before, stay tuned to this episode to hear it.
If you want to find more music that reminds you of God, you can watch song videos on U-Nite TV. Ask your parent or guardian to check out the link in the description for more. See you next time.
Bye, friends.
Sleeping, thy praise.